Done redirecting. Okay, welcome back, everybody. This is Crypto Hulk. We got Kaylen Brown here today. I like when they show up. It helps keeps us up to date on the crypto space. And for people that are unaware of what is Kaylen Brown, why does Crypto Hulk talk about it like all the time or whatever? I just want to put that out there. TJ Smith, welcome to the show. TJ Smith's brand new to the channel. We have a team on my program. Of course, you got me. I'm a star of the show. But we have Kaylen Brown, my first ever. I'm an affiliate of them or for them. And then we have a law firm now. A lot of you guys are joining the law firm. I spoke with the lawyer the other day. We have a special Crypto Hulk price. Now, if you're around the world, I want you to understand this. I've talked to the lawyer. If you contact Crypto Hulk's law firm, they don't care what country you're in, as long as that country and the United States are on friendly terms. The law firm can help you buy your crypto from Caleb and Brown. So, find my channel when this show's over. You can go to any of my videos right now. Look down below in the look below the channel in the description section. Click more, and you will see Kaylen Brown's link, so you can get the best crypto brokers on the planet. And you'll also see a lawyer. The reason I have both is this: you want a crypto broker like Kaylen Brown, where you can call them, when they're open, get a hold of a person, and you can text them pretty much at any time of the day. I think their general response time is around, they said 10 minutes max, but I'll tell you what, most of the time I hear from somebody in 2 to 5 minutes. But that's where you get your crypto. I'll let Jim tell you guys about Kaylen Brown, but the law firm is a new addition to the program over the past, I think, 3 weeks. You guys have been signing up. They have a greatly reduced price, and it's not free, it's not cheap, but it's massively reduced. You can get a payment plan if you want, not through them, but get your own payment plan, because this is important. You want to protect your crypto before the crypto laws come out. That's what you want to do. Please don't wait, because what's going to happen is they're going to make crypto laws. Oh, you're done. So if you live anywhere around the world, if you live in New York or like the communist state of New York, or I think Colorado or something like that, or you can't get Kaylen Brown in certain places. You can now. That's why I hooked up the lawyers. And I said, hey, we got people around the world and in the United States that can't buy from Kaylen Brown for whatever reason, Canada, whatever it is. We got that fixed. The lawyer said, done. Done. Now your people can buy from Kaylen Brown. That's why we got Jim here today. So, Jim, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us something about why is Kaylen Brown so more special than just any exchange?
Yeah, thanks for having me on again, Hulk. And it's nice to see the chat popping off with comments. Very, very excited to be here again. And as Hulk mentioned, Kaylen Brown is cryptocurrency brokerage. So that is distinct and quite unique compared to, say, an exchange. And the reason that it is different is that we're all about building long-term sustainable relationships with our clients. And we do that through a personalized white glove service. So every single client that signs up to work with us gets their own dedicated broker. That broker is there to assist you throughout your entire crypto journey. So if you're someone that's completely new to crypto and you need your handheld, you need education, information on what is this space, how to get started, how to do custody, what is the market cap of an asset, how does liquidity work, we help with all of that. We're also really helpful for the DeFi, or not necessarily DeFi, but crypto native individual that has been in the crypto space for a really long time, but is maybe looking to get a really complex trade executed, where if they would do that on an exchange, they would incur significant spread and slippage. Maybe they want one of our experienced traders to oversee the trade to ensure that they're getting the best rate possible. Maybe they want to leverage our institutional grade cold storage solution, which is a far better custody solution than holding your assets on exchange, and has additional benefits, or I guess diversification benefits, if you didn't want to hold all your assets just on a hardware wallet. So the best way to think about it is think of an exchange as just a regular old bank account. With Kaylen Brown, it's like a private banking solution. You get your own dedicated resource They are there to assist you when you need. And it's about you and your specific portfolio. So you'll have the same broker throughout your entire experience with us. And they really learn more about you. They learn about the assets you're interested in. They learn about your risk profile and your goals and what you're trying to achieve in this crypto space, because every client will be very different. And ultimately, we'll help you achieve those goals by ensuring you're as educated, as informed as possible. But also, when it comes time to making trades or selling out of positions, we'll get you the best price possible. And we'll do it, hands off and as seamless as possible. So you can just sit back and relax while we make sure you get the best rate for your assets.
We have a first question here. Jay Combs said, didn't Caleb and Brown get sold to another crypto business? Jim?
Yeah, starting straight off with that question. So the short answer is yes. So SwiftX is the largest Australian exchange. They purchased Caleb and Brown. It was made formal within the market probably about a couple of months ago. The main reason for it is that SwiftX are a great exchange, and they're a great platform for a lot of Australians to get started in crypto, but they don't have any presence or clients within the US. So they've purchased Caleb and Brown to really accelerate our efforts within the US landscape, to accelerate all of the service offerings and features that we provide through our service, to be able to scale that to a far larger amount. So they've purchased us to expand their offerings within the US, which will be beneficial for us as a business because it means we'll get more product features that we can probably offer our clients. But it ultimately means as well, we'll have far more resources to be able to scale and grow our operations within the US. And an example of this, even though we were pretty much doing it anyway, is that we've now recently opened up our own office within Fort Lauderdale in Florida. So we now have a physical presence within the US. We'll continue to expand further within the US. So ultimately, nothing will change in terms of the overall brokerage service we provide. It just means we now have more resources to continue to scale and grow, and means that we'll be more readily available for our US clients, physically within the US.
Okay. Let me take a look here. Brian Edwards says, Mo just helped me. Caleb and Brown rocks.
Yeah, Mo's one of our best brokers here. He's got a lot of crypto hold clients, which are great. I'll relay that feedback onto him.
New York cannot get Caleb and Brown. That is true. That's why we now have an option for you.
Yeah, I'll actually speak on that one, Brent, because that has changed as well in terms of how we can do things, even with an LLC. That is, it has changed. So unfortunately, if you are residing in New York, regardless of whether you have an LLC incorporated within any of the other US states that we approve of, we are unable to onboard if the director or any members of that LLC are based in New York. It's not a business decision, and I know I stressed this with one of your fellow members the other day, and I extended my apologies to him. I know he's in this chat right now. It is not a business decision. It is purely because of the strict laws and regulations within New York specifically. It is inherently risky for us to onboard any New York residents, but even residents with an LLC based elsewhere. We are hopeful that this will change. Like Scott Adams, I think is his name, the mayor in New York, has mentioned they want to become more crypto friendly. And pretty much every crypto business has provided the feedback to him that he needs to scrap the BitLicense requirements that he has currently enforceable within New York, which make it incredibly difficult for a business like us to operate there. But unfortunately, regardless of whether you're based in New York or you have an entity elsewhere, but you live in New York, we just can't onboard you. It's something that was new feedback I've received recently from our compliance team, based off feedback they've received from regulators within that area of the US. So it's unfortunate news. I am hopeful, and I think it will change in the long term. But that's currently the way that we are doing things as a business.
Sucks being you if you live in New York. Again, everybody, I would encourage you to contact Crypto Hawk's lawyer just for any questions in general. Okay, any kind of questions in general you want to know, and if you want to confirm, go ahead and call the lawyer up, and let's see what happens with that. Let's go to the next question here. What is the Caleb and Brown phone number in Florida?
So it won't be a specific brand number for Florida. We have a portion of our team that has actually moved from our Australian office here to the US office. In terms of getting in contact with them specifically, what we recommend currently is that you actually reach out to your broker and say, "Hey, I'm based in Florida, or I'd love to come into the office." And then what they'll do is they'll put you into contact with our support team in the US, and one of our two sort of main brokers that are seeing clients, and then you can go from there. So that's how it will work. Now, if you're a client that has an Australian broker, but wants a US broker because you live in Florida, that's something that could be arranged. But I would recommend reaching out to your broker, letting them know of your desire to come into the US office, and we can get that facilitated. I think that will change in terms of how the process will work long term. But the office literally just got set up probably about two and a half, 3 weeks ago. So we're still figuring out sort of the best way to allow clients to come in and interact with us. But I would recommend in terms of right now, contact your broker and you'll be able to facilitate a time to come in.
Michael has a question. Michael Brown says, "Can I have two accounts, one under a business and one personal?"
Absolutely. And most of our clients do that. So with Caleb Brown, how it works is say you create an individual account first, you can then go into your Caleb Brown portal and you'll be able to add an account, and you'll be able to add in an entity account, whether that's an LLC or even a trust. And what that will do is it'll create a separate account within the same login though. So you don't have to deal with the nuisance of remembering two different logins and logging into one to trade and then having to log into the other. So it'll all be in the same login and the same account, but you'll be able to toggle between the two. So you'll be able to toggle from your individual account and your LLC account. And a lot of our clients do that. A lot of our clients want to put Bitcoin or any other of the cryptos we store on their balance sheet through their LLC. And so they'll do that with us. So if you need any help with that, again, reach out to your broker, reach out to our support team. We can help get that LLC onboarded and you can start trading through it.
Jay Combs has a question. It says, "What about cashing out crypto?"
Yeah, great question, Jake. And this is something that is a big issue for most people on exchanges and is another one of the key differences between using Caleb Brown and exchange. How you can cash out with us is that we essentially have banking rails all around the world. We have very close ties to two main banks within the US as well. So let's just say you do really well with your crypto portfolio with us, and you want to cash out and move those assets back to your bank account. The first step is to actually cash out of the crypto. So let's just say you hold a really large bag of XRP. You can sell that XRP into US dollars with us. That will incur our trading fee, but then there'll be no fees from there on out. So then let's just say you decide to withdraw that US dollars to your bank account. We'll facilitate that withdrawal all in one go, and we won't charge you a withdrawal fee. So let's just say it's $500,000. That $500,000 will get withdrawn in one go. Our US bank will work with your US bank to ensure that that process goes as smoothly as possible. Whereas if you're to do that on another exchange, you'll be limited to say $20,000 a day, which look, if you're trying to get 500K off your account, it's going to take you a long period of time. And you'll also be charged every time you do that 20K withdrawal as well. So with us, off-ramping and exiting crypto is very easy and stress-free. And so I would recommend for anyone on this call that are maybe holding assets on the exchange, try to actually withdraw. Just go through a test withdrawal to see what they limit you and see what they charge you to do it. Because a lot of the time people don't do that until they're ready to exit the market. And then they realize, oh my God, this is going to take me a month to get all of this out. And I'm going to get charged every time I try to. So very much, I would recommend if you're not using Caleb Brown, get an account with Hulk's link and try it. But if you're wanting to do it through an exchange, see what that process is like for you, because it may not be a pleasant one.
I'll tell you what, one reason I like Caleb Brown is I like to do things in person. I'm just kind of like that. I don't like to do the virtual thing. If there's a store, I like to go in and deal with it. If I got a problem with my bill, I like to go into the store and talk to a person. I don't like talking to AI and doing all that dumb stuff. It just pisses me off. What I love about Caleb Brown is I can pick up a telephone during working hours. Now I know a lot of they don't want 3 million people calling them. I know, but I'm just telling you how I am. But I like to know that there's somebody who's got a heartbeat and about a 98.6 degree core temperature that I can pick up a phone and say, "Hi, I want to cash out and get $1 million." Right? I don't like doing this typing thing where I got to talk through 3 or 5 other people at these other exchanges. There's like nobody there to help you. Caleb Brown is right there. Like these people are friendly. You pick up the phone if it's something very important to you. You call them up, say, "Hey, my crypto is worth $5 million. I want to pull out $1 million." It's so easy to deal with these people. I'll tell you what, I don't know what the hell happened to customer service to especially YouTube. Oh God, horrendous. Caleb Brown, it's a pleasure. These people are on your team. That's why I got them with us. I let you guys determine whether we have Caleb Brown or not. It's not my decision, it was yours. So for about 5 or 6 weeks, you guys joined Caleb Brown and said, "Yes, Crypto Hulk, make them your affiliate, or I'm the affiliate for them." Okay. I understand that person's concern when they want to cash out and stuff. That's why we have the lawyers and the crypto brokers that we have. I have them for a reason. Okay.
Mm.
Next question, or Aaron says, "Jake helped me set up my LLC account and guided me through." That's what I'm talking about. See, guided me through the onboarding process, moving assets from personal accounts to the new LLC. I appreciate you guys. This is what I'm talking about. This is why Caleb Brown is. I'm on their team. They're on my team, whatever you want to say. But this is the exact reason, because Aaron says this place knows what they're doing. Let me look for another question. Oh, Bill wants to know, now that you're in the US, will you report to the IRS selling or buying crypto?
That's a good question, and honestly, one I probably need to speak to our legal team about. I know that we do have obligations to the ATO, which is the Australian Taxation Office. I don't know, is the short answer. In the past, we've never reported anything to IRS, and it's been up to the individual taxpayer. Now that may change depending on new laws and regulations being brought in to the US when it comes to crypto investing. So that is one I'll have to get back to you on. But in present day, and my understanding based on working with the brokers day to day and everything that we do as a business, we don't currently report anything to the IRS. Now, will that change? Potentially. I can't say no because it may change, but as of right now, we don't.
Okay, I want to again reiterate, we have a law team. We have a law firm that works with Crypto Hulk Channel. They have legal ways to position your crypto for whatever country, state, whatever you're in. They have ways to position it that works best for you. You have to contact my law firm and Anderson Advisors. Use the link to contact them. Tell them, "Hey, Crypto Hulk sent you." You know the guy that yells and screams and cusses all the time? He told me to come talk to you guys. I'm not worried, because we're putting my stuff in an irrevocable grantor, whatever, grant deed trust. Say, "Look, I'm not concerned. They're going to take care of it and do it the right way." If you don't have a lawyer, you need to really, really be concerned about losing everything. So get a law firm to help you do things legally. Please don't go cheap on this. Get a loan, get your law firm, and then you can buy your crypto from Caleb Brown and everything will work out just fine. Okay? Let me go to the next question. Okay, here's one from MKP. How often do we need to do a trade to keep a Caleb Brown account active and open?
There's no requirements in terms of continually doing trades with us to keep your account active and open. We don't close accounts if you're not doing anything with us because we know that some people um, want to hold assets with us and don't really want to do trades and they're just long-term holders. We have other people that like to trade all of the time. So it's really up to you and what you want to get out of the service with us, and ultimately what your goals and ambitions are when it comes to crypto. We have a lot of clients that have signed up and made an account, spoken to a broker, but haven't decided to use our service yet. We don't close those accounts. I'm now saying that if you're wanting to be considered active with us, usually that's people that are trading sort of every month or every couple of months, or are trading within a quarter. But there's no requirement to be active with us. You can hold your assets in cold storage and have them sit there for a year, and then make a trade when it works best for you. So we won't close those accounts, and that's not something you need to worry about.
Okay. The reason I think that question came up in the past is California is they started a policy, a law that says if there's a crypto account and it has not been actively trading for a certain period of time, the state of California will shut down a particular account, and then you have to prove to the state of California that's your. So there's just stuff like that. So people were concerned. Kaylen Brown, look, you guys, Kaylen Brown said they're not going to shut anything down. It's not them, it's the state, it's the federal, and all these other things. Okay. So my policy is this: I'm going to make a trade every month, whether it's $5 or $5 million, whatever it is. I want whoever it is that's going to try to do something to my account, nefarious, to look at, oh, Crypto Hulk's trading every month. I want it to look like, see, if you have a Kaylen Brown, if you sign up, but you never put money in there, like you never put your crypto in their cold storage, according to me, it doesn't look like you're a customer. Just because I got your name and you signed up and all that, if you haven't transferred any crypto there, if you haven't bought any crypto, the government might look at that and say, oh, that account's not active. So that's just my concern. Utilize Kaylen Brown. Transfer some crypto, at least something there to make it look like every whatever month or something. Just buy something at least. Just flip something stupid or whatever. Just make it look like you're actively trading for the government. Okay. All right. That's my policy that I'm doing for myself. How much, Senor Rojo, how much does Kaylen Brown cost to start? And can you explain withdrawal fees?
Yeah, so there's no cost to get started, which is also the benefit of working with us. You can create an account, you can speak to a broker without upfronting any capital at all. And so that's what I always recommend for someone that's maybe new to hearing about us or new to the crypto space in general. Create an account and see if the service is right for you, because it doesn't require you to spend any money to do so. I think you'll find that the personalized service that we offer and all the features around our custody and how we execute trades is pretty unique and quite valuable for a lot of people. So there's absolutely no fee. We do have a minimum requirement when it comes to purchasing with us, which is 500 USD. Now that's a minimum amount. We do allow some clients, if they're new to Kaylen Brown, to do some test trades first. But as a default, the minimum amount is 500 USD, which we think is fair and reasonable. In relation to withdrawal fees, I mentioned it before. What withdrawal fees are is essentially when you're trying to withdraw from a crypto platform or service back to your bank account. So you're withdrawing from crypto into, you're swapping from crypto into fiat, whether that's US dollars, Great British pounds, euros, and then you're looking to withdraw that back to your bank account. This is something that most of us do when we've done really well in the space and we're looking to exit the market. Now, as I mentioned before, you try and do this on other platforms, they'll charge you a fee to withdraw that US dollars to your bank account. And that's what we mean by withdrawal fees. You'll actually be charged just to take those assets off the platform, and they'll usually have limits. I think Uphold right now is at maybe 30K, maybe 20K, which sounds like a lot and is a lot, but you can imagine that, look, we have some high net worth individuals that are looking to move, say, 7 figures worth. It's just not feasible for them to use an exchange like that because they're never going to be able to, it's going to take them so long to withdraw all of their assets. So that is where with us, you won't be charged any withdrawal fees. So when you're ready to exit and move those US dollars to your bank account, you won't be charged for that. You also won't be limited. So if you're someone that is, a high net worth individual that's looking to move 5, 6, 7 figures worth of US dollars back to your bank account, we'll do that all in one go for you.
Interesting. Hey Jim, Mark asked a question. Hey Jim, what's the cost to switch over from personal to LLC?
No cost. No cost. So you can just onboard different company and entity accounts with us. We have some clients that have an individual account and they have like 6 or 7 entity accounts with us because just have so many different entities that are looking to invest in crypto through. There's no cost to set up those accounts. The only cost that we ever charge is when you actually execute a trade with us. So create an account, speaking to your broker, custody, withdrawing, none of that has a fee. It's just when you buy, sell, or swap with us.
Buy, sell, or swap. Okay. Trying to turn that ringer off. Mark has a good question. I think there's a definite easy work around this. Mark says, is a wire the only way to deposit fiat?
Yeah, so Mark, at this stage, yes. We understand that bank wire transfers are kind of annoying. It doesn't seem to be a common thing in the US, where it is pretty common here in Australia. We are looking into potentially different ways that clients can onboard. So we are looking into, Stripe payment processing, being able to onboard with your credit card and debit card. They just historically have a lot of fees associated with them. So we found that in the past, bank wire transfers, usually there's no bank wire transfer fee, and it's a better experience for our clients. But we know that a lot of clients just want to hook up, their debit or credit card and invest through that. So we are looking into it. But unfortunately, at this stage, it is just bank wire transfers. Now, the workaround that Hulk has mentioned that I wouldn't say I'm supportive of, but it is a workaround if, for example, you are incurring significant bank wire transfers, is just to make the deposit on, I don't know, another exchange, say like Coinbase. And then what you can do is you can just move those assets over to Calum Brown, say it's US dollars or USDC, and then just trade through that. That's an easier way to do it if you are incurring bank wire transfer fees. I'm never really going to recommend you use another platform and service naturally. But that is one way that some clients have onboarded and then move those assets over to Calvin Brown. But it's up to a personal preference.
Yeah, what some people told me they've done is like they already have Circle or something, right? They have a hardware wallet or whatever they have. So they just out of their hardware wallet transferred Circle to Caleb Brown. And as long as you got $500, you can make a trade. So that's what some people did. I've got probably $2,000 worth of Circle on a hardware software wallet on my phone. So with that, I just transferred it. I could transfer it in if I wanted to Caleb Brown, and then I got money in my account. So that's another option.
I know that. Yeah, I know that even like hot wallets. So a great example is say MetaMask, for example. They're connected or have partnerships with say MoonPay, and you can just buy crypto on your hot wallet and then do whatever you want with it. So if that's easier, you can buy USDC through say MoonPay through a MetaMask wallet, and then you can always move those assets over. So there's a whole bunch of different ways to get on ramped outside of just Caleb Brown. But we do very much recommend it's far easier once the assets are already on your own account to do the bank wire transfer. But if there are difficulties with that, there are alternatives.
All right. Brian has a question. Any thoughts on providing loans against our crypto down the road?
Good question. Really good question. It's something we're looking into, more so from the yield generation and staking side than loans. Loans are inherently risky. We all know that, right? But it's especially the case when it's a volatile asset like crypto, where you can suffer from things like impermanent loss, smart contract risk, and obviously counterparty risk as well. So it is something we're looking at on our roadmap. The thing with how our business operates is we just do our due diligence and our utmost to learn everything about different offerings and solutions that we could potentially provide. But we never want it to come at the expense of our cold storage solution. So if we were to offer something like, loans are a little different. The custody on that would be really different because ultimately those assets have been loaned out to a counterparty. So there's inherently always going to be risk associated with that. And I would recommend if other people or services are offering that to do your research on it. But yeah, the long story short is I'm not ruling out. We're certainly looking into it. But at this stage, we are purely just a spot purchase a platform and service.
Mitchell Tao has a comment. He says, "Thank you, Jim and Crypto Hulk, for doing a show formatted this way. It really helps hearing all the questions and answers and a lot of fears and hesitations melting away."
Good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah, if anyone's got any questions at all around our service that you're not quite sure about, yeah, please feel free to leave a comment and we'll make sure it gets answered.
Look, you guys, I've been making this program for 5 years. Like, I'm thinking, like, wow, 5 years, shit. I've been doing this for 5 years. You guys already know, like, how I am. I'm skeptical of just about everything. I've had one. Kellen Brown's not my sponsor, but I'm using the term I'm their affiliate. So I've only been an affiliate of one company in 5 years. These other people on other platforms and shit and whatever, they've had all kinds. They'll have a new sponsor every week. All right. So number one, you should know how I am right now. I'm very protective of my channel. I don't like doing shows with other people. I don't like sharing a spotlight. I like being the star of the show. I like doing all the research that I can, working very hard to present facts and deep dive information to you. I have Kalen Brown on the show because I have 100% trust in this company. They've got my crypto. They got my crypto. It's all locked up in cold storage. Okay. I consider them part of my team. I'm like the educator. They're the protector of the crypto, and if you want to purchase it from them. And then we got the legal team behind us. Okay. So I've got a pretty good thing going here. We've got legal, you can get legal advice. If you sign up with Crypto Hulk lawyer, they have a plan where you can call them like not Monday through Friday, 9 to 2 a.m. every day, every week, and get legal advice that I don't know because I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a crypto advisor, none of the above. My name's Crypto Hulk. And then if you want to talk to your broker, that's what we got. We got a great program right here at Crypto Hulk. There's nothing to be afraid of. We got lawyers and we have an awesome crypto provider for us. There's nothing wrong with this channel. We got professionals here. We've got it taken care of. Don't worry. All right. If you have a concern about anything, contact your broker, contact your lawyer. If you sign up with the Crypto Hulk law firm, you got a lawyer. You just call them on the phone. You go on the Zoom channel thing they got, and you can talk to them. Then you got me. If you need research on a certain crypto, you got me. You got a whole team right here. Okay, everything is fine. I'd be concerned if you're using some other brokerage or whatever, or some other law firm. But this law firm started to watch my show and understand how I do stuff and how you guys are. And they said, you know what? They literally made a special crypto package just for you, okay? That helps us. They never designed a platform program like the one they have for Crypto Hulk fans, okay? So that's how dedicated this law firm is to us and helping us achieve stuff, helping us avoid paying any unfair tax. Okay. I can't get into all that stuff. That becomes a legal issue. So you talk to your lawyer on that. Next, let me look through here. Jim, Kalen Brown, one. Okay. Mr. OG asked, Jim, Kalen Brown brokerage, when will stocks be available on Kalen Brown?
Yeah, so just answered his question in the chat. It's not something we're readily looking into. We are a crypto focused and crypto obsessed business. And so we'll most likely always continue to play in the crypto space, and purely the crypto space. Now, someone did ask me the other day, like, what happens when equities potentially get tokenized and you can buy, a crypto asset that reflects, say, a share of NVIDIA as an example. We're a long way from that, or maybe not a long way, but it's certainly not something that's going to happen, this year as an example. But in that scenario, there's every chance that we could support tokenized stocks in that respect. if they are on chain and it makes sense for us to list something like that. So I think we'll never really play in the space of pure traditional finance, equity, and stocks. But you never know in terms of how this space will proceed. You know, Project Crypto just got announced by Paul Atkins the other week, which is often an interesting sort of connection between TradeFi and crypto. But they're ultimately looking to tokenize and also put in place blockchain for traditional finance assets like stocks and bonds, which will improve settlement times and things like that. But will open up the possibility of the two merging more closely together. So a long-winded way, Mr. OG, of saying that we'll never probably offer exposure to direct stocks. But if those stocks become tokenized and there are assets that represent a stock, then technically in some roundabout way, we may be able to offer that in the future. But again, I think we are a little way from that anyway.
Chris Sharp, Chris Sharp says, sounds like a solid A++ family to me. Lee Neal says legal shield in a question mark. This is my personal opinion. Don't okay, here's my personal opinion. Contact Crypto Hulk lawyer. I've used Legal Shield before. I'm not going to comment, okay? So I'm not going to comment on that. Would I join Legal Shield? I can't comment on that. And there's your answer. Look, don't cut corners. Don't just say, well, I want to set up an LLC for $300. That ain't gonna, you're gonna get wrecked, dude. I'm just telling you. We have a lawyer for a reason. If you want to go cheap and do Legal Shield, hey, that's your choice. And when you get destroyed, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror and call yourself some four-letter words, okay? Zachary Carrillo. If the U.S. government, now think of this question. Zachary, think of this question before you ask it. If the U.S. government deems certain cryptos essential, do they have to surrender it? What do you think? No. Kevin Brown's like, no, United States government. Are you high? Zachary, don't ask that kind of a question. I'm going to remove that question. That's a no-brainer. No one's going to answer that question. No, we're going to evade the law. We're not even going to listen to the law in this channel. That's why we have the legal experts, the Crypto Hulk Anderson advisors. That's why we have them, so you can ask them that question, okay? Chris Sharpie. He says to somebody, you can withdraw as much as you want with no cutoff. So yeah, these other exchanges, Jim, like, without mentioning any exchange, think of the biggest one. Is there limits? Like if my XRP suddenly becomes worth $1 million, can I pull it out all at once? Or what have you heard about like some of the top 5 exchanges? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to go name by name and go through all of them.
Just
I know
like
from
the top
I know from a
5.
client, I know from a client recently who created an account with us that was trying to withdraw on Uphold. I think they limited her to 30K a day as an example, and that's probably for a top tier investor. They may have different withdrawal limits based on like how much you've traded with them and whether you're a certain level of investor. I know that Coinbase has withdrawal limits as well. I can't speak to what they are. I'm not entirely sure. But as I mentioned before, most of them will have limits. And a lot of the time it's due to the fact that maybe the liquidity side of things, they don't maybe necessarily have all client assets readily available to be withdrawn. But obviously I can't speak to how they do things operationally. But as I mentioned before, if you're holding assets on these exchanges, go through a test withdrawal process and see what they limit you to and see what the fees are. Because I've done it before. There's nothing more stressful than being ready to exit the market. You've done really well. You've sold out of a great position. You're ready to withdraw to your bank account. And all of a sudden you have the stress of having to go through a withdrawal process for 30 days in a row and getting charged every single time. You just don't want to go through that. So that's really where, we can really help in that scenario.
So let's say you made $10 million on your crypto and you go to an exchange where they only let you take out 30,000 a day, that's probably if you're a big customer. So if you're a small fry like us, that comes out, you know how many days that is? 30,000 a day for $10 million. That's a lot of days. 30,000 for 3 days is about 100,000 times 10 would be a million. That's probably, I don't know, at least a month or 2 months or something like that, or 3 months to get all your money out. Caleb Brown, bam, just like that. So if you want to go to some other exchange where they're not going to give you your money and it's going to take you like 3 months to get it, hey, that's your choice. I told you, Caleb Brown. Let's go to the next question. I'm not dealing with dumb shit like that. I call up Caleb Brown. I want my money tomorrow. Next bank, whenever they can get it to me and stuff, bam, it's done. I don't have to do this. And then they cash out. Jim, let me ask a question. If my XRP suddenly gets worth $10 million and I email my broker and say, cash it out and send it to my bank account, I know it's immediately transferred out of XRP into cash. I don't have to wait a day or two. It's immediately done then. It's just I don't get the money until the banks do all. Is that how it goes or what?
Yeah, you're right. So the actual execution of a trade, say you email your broker, that should be done within the minute.
Got
Again,
it.
if you wanted to make it even quicker, you could just log into your account and do it yourself. As soon as that gets processed, our team will work on getting you the best rate. We'll go to our liquidity providers and we'll execute the trade at the best price possible. So the actual execution of any trade that you do with us is pretty immediate. And then in terms of actually withdrawing, as you can imagine, we have a few security protocols and steps to ensure that's actually you doing that withdrawal. So we'll call the client, especially if you're looking to sell out of 10 million XRP to, sorry, especially if you're trying to then sell or move $10 million worth of USD to your bank account, we will be calling you to make sure it's actually you. That's far too big of an amount for us to do any of that automation that you'll see on other platforms. So we'll call the client, we'll ask some security questions, ensure it's actually them. And then once that process or that withdrawal is processed, it's then up to the banks in terms of how long it'll take to get done. Usually it's sort of 1 to 2 business days. It depends on the bank, but we have US banking rails across the US who work with your local bank account in this example. And we usually find banks are fine with receiving money. They have no issues, obviously, taking money in. It's more so when people on ramp that sometimes banks take a little longer. It's always a bit of a risk to say I'm on ramping to a crypto business because then they've raised red flags. But in terms of withdrawing, usually there's no issues. They're happy to take they're happy to take the money. So the actual execution of a trade gets done pretty quickly, and then the actual withdrawal process will confirm it to you, and then it'll process with the banks, and then it's really up to the banks. There's only so much we can do then in that scenario.
I like that. I like to know I'm going to get my money right. I like to know I'm going to get out of a position. If right now I know Caleb Brown's open because it's Monday through Friday and stuff, but if I email my broker, actually I know I can go right into my account and get out of a position of $10 million in XRP within I don't know how long it takes, 30 seconds or a minute or whatever your computer thing does. I could be out right there. If I'm at some other exchange, you guys, this might take 30 days of trying, or 40, 50, 60 days of trying to, depends on how much you make. Okay. Do you want your stuff locked up in some kind of exchange? Oh, I'm trying to save a percent or two. You're going to be so fucked. Or how about this? What if you have a big amount into some crypto and you want to get out of it before you get fucking wrecked? Oh, no, you're locked up in some other, you're in some exchange. I'm telling you, you might save something somewhere else, but when you want to cash out lightning bullet fast, that you're going to be stuck in that fucking exchange for 30, 60 days. Maybe the government makes an announcement. In 30 days, we're going to do such and such to some unnamed crypto. Oh shit, let me get that crypto out of there. Oh, no, you're in that exchange. You see where this is going? The government might make an announcement. This afternoon, we've decided that we're going to do such. Man, you can get on Caleb Brown, boom, 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 quick, and get stuff done. It's done. You sold out. You're done before it gets wrecked. Oh, but that other exchange, No, they're not gonna be able to do that. So you make your own decisions. All right. Let's go to the next one. Ducave, I think I already answered this. Would there be a moment when I can't withdraw 7 or 8 figures? Not with really. So we kind of answered that. Jim, answer that question. Would there be a moment when I can't withdraw 7 or 8 figures?
No, like the way that we operate as a business is your assets are always readily available. And that's really due to the fact that we aren't doing anything nefarious on the back end. We aren't offering things like yields. We aren't charging for custody. Your assets just sit in cold storage until you decide to either make a trade with us or withdraw them. So if you've got 7 or 8 figures worth and you're looking to withdraw to your bank account, those assets are readily available. It's not like we need to grab them from somewhere else or we knew with FTX in the past that they were then using our assets to earn yield elsewhere. And honestly, that's why a lot of withdrawal limits are placed on other platforms because maybe they don't necessarily have your assets ready to go. With us, we have all assets accounted for on a one-for-one basis. So if you decide to go through a withdrawal process, we'll be able to facilitate that, especially in periods of high demand. Like we're seeing it now, but even in the next 6 months, things could get really crazy, and we could see a whole smorgasbord of euphoria and assets really start to increase in price. And that's usually where a lot of other platforms have issues with liquidity. The way that we operationally work here is we always have sufficient liquidity to get trades executed, but also withdraw assets for clients when they're ready to withdraw.
Interesting. Okay. Jim, how does this work? I know we're not even rich yet, but okay, let's say I'm going to cash out and I got $10 million XRP. I go to my account online, click it, done. Now, how does that work? Like, where do you get this money from? You guys got like $300 billion stuffed in the cold storage, or how do you guys come up with the money to pay me?
So we don't come up with the money to pay you because we just hold your assets for you. So let's just say that you are holding $20 million worth of XRP with us. We hold the XRP in custody on your behalf. So we already have the assets. It's just what the market price is for that asset. So if XRP's whatever the price is, that'll just be a trade that we facilitate. Now, we use our own liquidity to get trades executed. And we use our own liquidity based on market conditions, but based on assets we hold internally as a business as well. So ultimately, what that means is we don't use client assets to get the trade done necessarily. So we won't expose your Bitcoin to our liquidity providers. We have a mandate as a business around how much liquidity we need to execute the trade on behalf of clients. But ultimately, your assets are there, and whatever the value is in the market is the value that we can sell them at. That's really what this space is. So it's not like we need to come up with the money to sell the assets that you have valued in your account. You have those assets and we hold them for you. So we can always sell those out at whatever the market price is. And if you want to withdraw it to your bank account, we can. Does that kind of make sense?
Okay.
I'm happy to go into more detail on how that works.
Okay, let's move on from that one. Like a question. Can somebody ask a question? Can crypto be put in a living trust?
Yeah. So it can. We onboard LLCs and we onboard trusts. So if you have a living trust, you can onboard that trust with Kellen Brown, and then you can invest on behalf of that trust. I'm not exactly certain what a living trust is, but as an example for me, I have a Kellen Brown individual account, and then I also have a Kellen Brown family trust account. So I have a family trust for my family. I want to invest in crypto on behalf of them to ensure that they get the benefits of my conviction and my belief in this space. So I have an account for that. That inherently looks very different to my personal account, but I can invest in either account, and they'll have different holdings, and I have different assets in both. So you can onboard that trust and invest with us through that trust.
Murdoch, thank you for the tax-free donation. I tried signing up, but New York State said no way. Any clue when that hurdle will be lifted fair dinkum, mate. Go see Eagles.
So fair dinkum is a common saying within Australia. Um, in terms of New York, like I don't have a timeline. I mentioned this before. New York is one of the strictest states when it comes to crypto regulation. Um, and it's due to the fact that digital asset companies there need to have a bit license. Without going into too much detail, it is an incredibly onerous license to get. It takes over 3 years. It's very expensive. It has a lot of hoops and boundaries that you need to go through to get the license, which has made it very difficult for companies like us to operate there. Now, I am hopeful that that will change. The New York mayor has stressed that he wants New York to become a place where crypto can thrive. And I think he received feedback from those comments almost immediately around reducing the requirements around the bit license and what it requires you to get one. So I am personally quite hopeful that things will change because we know how big of a crypto hub New York was in the past and still probably is today. So I'm hopeful that that will change. But unfortunately, look, it speaks to the fact that we can accept clients in every other state in the US except New York. That kind of speaks to how restrictive this bit license requirement is. But I'm hopeful that will change in the future.
I heard that. Let's go to the next question. 10-ton Hammer says, I've done well listening to Hulk so far. Not financial advice, just saying he's trying to help us. We should really pay attention to this. That's why Jim is here to educate you, and I have him on the show because that's his business, and he's better explaining that than me. Like, I'm good at what I do. Jim's great what he does. The other people in the supportive staff at Caleb Brown does what they do. I got the law team here. I mean, look, we're here to try to get everybody to be successful. All right. I don't have all the answers. That's why I have a crypto broker to help me on one end and a law firm on the other. Okay. That's how it works here. Chris Sharpie says, I can only withdraw 18,000 bucks a day is what they told me. I don't know where he's talking about. Chris Sharpie, go
On
ahead.
on Calvin Brown, or is maybe he's
No, it's
talking
probably
about
somewhere.
elsewhere?
That's why I need clarification, Christopher.
Yeah,
Uh,
it wouldn't be on Calvin Brown.
Let me take another question here. Yeah. Somebody says, we are fortunate that Caleb Brown is letting retail use their services. This is like a miracle. Right. People like you and me have access to institutional custody, Fireblocks. That's the same as the top 2,000 banks in the world. I like my crypto to be inside of a thing called Fireblocks. I like to know that I got the same as BNY Mellon and all the top companies, JP Morgan and all that. I like to know the custody solution that Caleb Brown has is the same as them. It makes Crypto Hawk feel very protected. Let me look. Dude, what is back your ability to pay out someone's holding over clients cashed out? Let's see. Um, 10-ton Hammer says, Hulk, will there be a time in the future that Caleb Brown will only take accredited investors?
Sorry, I'm just responding to a comment in the chat. We take on accredited investors now. So while we are accessible to everyday retail investors, and we try and be as accessible to everyone, we have a lot of high net worth clients, a lot of what would consider to be accredited investors, people that are doing seven, even some people that are doing 8-figure trades with us, right? This service is really beneficial for them because they want to speak to a broker. They want a dedicated service considering the size that they're doing with us. So we take a lot of accredited investors on. They love to work with us, and we make sure they get the best service with us. So, yeah.
Yeah, I
Let
like
me
the
finish
fact
responding
that
to this question.
I like the fact that Caleb Brown has accredited investors and then has retail people like us. That's what I like. There's a lot of stuff that I like, but okay. let me see these questions here. Chris Sharpie, Uphold is who I'm talking about. No issues with Caleb and Brown ever. So Chris Sharpie's saying if you guys got Caleb, Uphold, Uphold is only able to cash him out at 18,000 bucks a day. Oh, not good. So not good. But somebody might say, but Uphold's fees might, they say they're lower. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, when I want to cash out, bam, I want to do it just like that. I don't want to wait three to 4 months at $18,000 a day. Do you realize how fucking stupid that is? Hey, do what you think you got to do, but I'm going where I get my money exactly right now. Okay. You can fuck around for 3, 4 months trying to get all your money. Let's see here. Where are we at? Hey Jim, are we at about the 1 hour mark?
Yeah, we're at about the 1 hour mark. What does it say on the stream?
Okay. Because my throat's starting to get dry and I ran out of lemon juice stuff to drink. So, okay,
Yeah, we're
we've
at
got
55 minutes right now.
okay, that sounds pretty good.
I think Tenton Hammer in the chat wants a link to Calvin Brown, so I might just put that in here. I have noticed that the link isn't in this live stream description. So if you are someone on this call that wants to sign up but can't find the link, I'm sure you can find it in Crypto Hulk's description. But I might just include it in the chat here. So you've got it now. I would recommend using this link to sign up. It means you'll get priority access to a broker. It means we know you've come from this community as well, and it means you'll be eligible for potential giveaways and future discounts that we've done before with this community.
Yeah, what
So
I'll do,
give me
Jim,
1 second. I'll
is
just put the link in the chat.
when this show's over, I'm going to go back in and add all the links that I do. So, but go ahead and put it in now for those that want it. But it'll all be in there in about 5 minutes once the show's over.
Yep. Perfect. And Dukova, I think your name is. It sounds like you've got quite a few questions and there's a bit of confusion. So for you and for anyone else, I'm going to put my email in the chat now. Feel free to reach out to me and I can answer your questions there. Just because, yeah, we're running out of time. So let me just put that in the chat now as well. And so, Scott, sorry, I see this question. So, why can't Americans, non-accredited investors, use the Fort Lauderdale service? You can. So, we just have an office now in Fort Lauderdale. Most of our clients are either falling under that through one of the brokers that resides in Fort Lauderdale, or you're a current client of ours and you have one of the brokers here in the Australian office. If you would like to be transferred to one of our Fort Lauderdale brokers, then just request that through your broker. Most of our clients have built personal relationships with their brokers, so they want to continue working with them. But if you're someone that wants to work with a broker that's based in Florida, then you can reach out to your broker and say, hey, I'd like to get reassigned to a US-based broker. Completely up to you, but it's certainly not available to you. Like you can transfer your broker if that's something you'd like to do.
Yeah, I'd rather just keep the Australian broker I got because the American brokers have weird accents. So I'm happy where I'm at. All righty, Jim, it was great. I'll see you when we see you next here. And I hope everybody got their questions answered. We're going to try to be back in 2 weeks from now. We'll just see how it goes. 2 or 3 weeks. We'll see how everything goes. But we tried our best to answer questions, and I'll see you guys on the next live stream. All righty? Adios.
Thanks, all.
See you later, Jim.
All right.